Hello all, welcome to EC Electronics. In today's video, we'll be seeing some questions, interview questions from communication system. So electronics and communication. So this subject or this area is for communication. So we are going to see some communication related questions in today's video. So please do watch this video till the end. Also, if you want some other subjects interview questions or if you want some other areas to prepare, for interviews, please mention that in the comment section. We'll be doing separate videos as a series. In today's video, we'll be seeing some basic questions from communication system. Okay, let's move on to the first question. So the first question is, what are the various parts of a communication system? Generally, when we think about a communication system, what are the various parts? In a communication system, there is a sender, the person or the part which is sending the message. Then there is a receiver. Then the receiver is the person or the system or the part which is receiving the message sent by the sender. There is a transmission medium. You can say a channel or a medium should be there. It can be either wireless or wired medium, or there should be some communication path or channel. Okay, so this type of medium should be there for transferring the message. Then there is message. What is actually the message being transferred? That should be there. And the last one, which is a protocol. Protocol means you can say set of rules or set of laws which is being understood, or the sender and the receiver should be understanding this protocol. Only then the communication should be proper. Okay, I'm going to give a very small example. So consider that there are two people who knows only Hindi. Okay, so these two persons only knows Hindi, and when they speak or when they understand, one person is a sender, one person is a receiver, and they understand Hindi. So that's why they could easily transfer the message, or they could communicate. But consider one person know only English, the other person know only Hindi, means they can't communicate properly. So the protocol, you can say that there should be an understanding, or there should be a set of rules when there is a communication. Okay, so this is a simple explanation of a communication system. If you go deep down into the subject, there are a lot of things. There is transmitter, receiver, antenna, protocol, symbol, data, packet, everything is there. But when talking about a very common man's way of considering a communication system, at least these things should be there. Okay, so these are the parts of a communication system. Now, the next question, the second question is, what are the two types of communication system? We can broadly classify the communication system based on an electronics perspective, or based on a an engineering perspective, as analog and digital communication system. There is two subjects, analog communication, digital communication. What is the difference? The main difference is in the signal which is being transferred. In analog communication system, we are sending analog signals, means signals that is having variation in time and amplitude. Then digital signals are signals which are in the form of ones and zeros. So they are only 1010. That type of signals, or the signals which are, or the communication system which is only using digital signals, is called a digital communication system, which is a very broad classification of a communication system as analog communication and digital communication. Okay, now that is the second question. Now moving on to the third question. This is a very very simple question. What is an analog signal? So whenever we think about an analog signal, what will come in our mind? It will be a sine wave, or a wave which can be sine or cosine. Okay, just think of a sine wave. Okay, it is having variation in time and amplitude. That type of a signal which is varying in time and amplitude is called a analog signal. So the signal varies with respect to time, its amplitude changes. Okay. The next question is, what is modulation? So when we are sending the information from the sender to the receiver side, sometimes we apply modulation. Why? To do this process of modulation? Modulation is done to improve the quality of communication. In simple words, you should say like this. Communication should be efficient. For making the communication efficient, we do some process. It can be in the message, or it can be in the transmitter or the receiver, or it can be in the carrier, which is taking the signal or the information. We do something to make the communication more efficient, and this process is called modulation. Just like we say our voice is getting modulated, we make some changes in the voice to to make changes in the situation. Sometimes if you want to say something very firmly, I am going to say like, I will do this. Okay, so just like this, we modulate our tone. We can do modulation in the communication system or in the signal to make the communication more efficient. Okay, so that is called modulation. The next question is, what are the different types of modulation? In analog communication, modulation can be classified as 3 categories: amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and phase modulation. Okay, so when we are sending the signal from the sender to the receiver, we will be using a carrier wave, okay, that carries the information. Now we can modulate this carrier wave, its properties like amplitude or frequency or phase, in accordance with our information or in accordance with our message signal to make the communication more efficient. This process is called modulation, and there are 3 categories of modulation: amplitude modulation, frequency, and phase modulation. So in amplitude modulation, what we do is we are going to modulate the amplitude of the carrier wave in accordance with our message signal. Okay, so here very clearly you should be listening this. The amplitude of the carrier wave is modulated in accordance with the amplitude of the modulation signal, or you can say the message signal. Okay, you can say the amplitude of the carrier is modulated in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal. This is called amplitude modulation. Okay. The second type of modulation is frequency modulation. In frequency modulation, what we do is we modulate the frequency of the carrier wave in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal. So the second part, which is the amplitude of the message signal, this part remains constant. Okay, but what is getting modulated? Frequency is getting modulated. The frequency of the carrier is getting modulated, but in accordance with the amplitude of the message or the message signal. Okay, this is called frequency modulation. The third type of modulation is phase modulation, in which the phase of the carrier signal is modulated in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal. Okay, so this is the 3 categories of modulation. In today's video, we are only seeing this till this part. We have only seen some basic questions. When the interviewer is asking you, you should be at least saying these type of answers, or you should answer in this way. Okay, so that's all about today's video. If you want me to continue this interview series on various subjects or various topics, please mention that in the comment section. We'll be doing that as series. If you want more questions on analog communication, please mention that in the comment section. We'll be doing that as well. Please subscribe to the channel. If the video was useful, please like the video and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. Keep on watching.